Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Friday, October the 3rd. I'm your host Daniel, and this morning we're going to talk about a Russian boat has been seen near Polish gas pipelines, border guards say. Russia says that it's not in a cold war with the West, but in a fiery conflict. And Swiss defence ministers have urged overhaul of arms export laws and see trust at stake. So firstly, Polish border guards said on Thursday that they had seen Russian fishing boats acting suspiciously near a gas pipeline in the waters of its country, amid anxiety over possible sabotage operations in the Baltic Sea. The Baltic Sea is bordered by 8 NATO nations that have been redoubling efforts to protect underwater cables and pipelines after a spat of suspected sabotage incidents, some of which the West now blames on Moscow. Russia has denied any involvement, and the Russian embassy in Warsaw has not immediately responded, but to an email request for a comment on the fishing boat activity. So what? While it's possible that they're mapping out undersea gas pipelines for possible sabotage attacks, it's also just as possible that they're currently conducting fishing operations, trying to get some food. And that this is just, a bit of not really paranoia, but just, being aware of what's going on and what these ships are up to, as any of them could possibly be involved in sabotage. It's kind of it shows the level of angst that NATO is currently under, where the movement of any Russian equipment, ships, whether they be civilian or military, kind of heightens the level of risk, as it's possible that the Polish maritime border guards could go out there and detain these fishing boats just to see what they're up to, which just continues to increase tensions between NATO and Russia. We've seen a similar incident where France boarded and detained a cargo ship in its waters yesterday or the day before, I believe, that is believed to have been involved in the drone sightings over Denmark. So yeah, things are pretty tense between Russia and NATO at the moment, as you can understand. So yeah, it's not surprising that Poland is worried about these fishing boats, but it's also possible that they're just fishing boats and, getting a bit worried. And next, Russia on Thursday said that there is no Cold War with the West because it was now a fiery conflict, and that the European Union and the NATO military alliance were lying about alleged Moscow sabotage operations to justify vast military spending. The war in Ukraine, Europe's deadliest since World War II, has sparked the biggest confrontation between Russia and the West since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. So what? I mean, this is just a flow on from the last article where Moscow is openly denying the sabotage attacks, yet yesterday or the day before, Putin was kind of joking about being behind the drones sightings in Denmark while on stage in a press briefing. So, this is the game that we're currently playing. And as Russia openly says, they see this as a direct conflict between the West, I should say, and Russia. So, of course, they're going to conduct sabotage operations. It's the closest thing they can do to actually conducting any kinds of attacks against the West. So yeah, it's just understanding the Russian thinking on this. Russia sees this as a conflict with the West, so conducting these types of quite risky sabotage operations is perfectly justifiable in their eyes. And lastly, the Swiss defence minister, whose name I cannot pronounce, and urged lawmakers to press on with loosening curbs on arms exports to help boost international security cooperation, as he warned of potential risks facing the neutral country. The government in February proposed relaxing restrictions on arms exports to bolster its domestic industry and security ties, a sensitive move for a country that has blocked the re export of its weapons and ammunition to Ukraine. So what? I'm quite surprised by this move. Switzerland is historically neutral and doesn't want to get involved, but I guess they kind of see it as Russia probably doesn't care, maybe. I don't know. It's quite interesting to see them wanting to kind of integrate more into like the European defense and community and actually play their part. Whether this will go all the way to supplying like weapons and ammunition to Ukraine, I'm unsure. But an opening up of their restrictions would be pretty positive for Europe. The European defense industry is booming. Maybe it's just a money thing. Maybe they just don't want to miss out on all these juicy euros that are going to be flowing down with all this boosting in defense spending. But yeah. Also, they're missing out on lots of research and development opportunities in Ukraine, as it's the perfect testing ground for any weapon. So if a weapon proves to be effective in Ukraine, then it's likely to be sold pretty significantly on the open market. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just want to be more involved in Europe rather than sit in their mountain fortress. Seems unlikely though. Thank you for listening to the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Nope. See you again on Monday. See you.